One of the toughest things to do is leave behind those people who aren't going to be able to go to the next level with you. One of the things that keeps you hung up, that keeps you stuck, is not being able to let go of the people that you're used to. Not being able to leave your friends behind, not being able to leave sometimes your family behind. But this is your journey. And you're going to have to make some tough decisions sometime because no, you can't carry anyone on your spiritual journey with you. You can't. They have to take their own spiritual journey. And so today, that's what we'll talk about. Because I know some of you are going through this right now, trying to make that transition. But we're not going to talk about what BOA says about it. We're going to talk about what God says about it, what the Word says about it. So today, what we'll discuss is this: what the Bible says about leaving your ungodly friends behind as you transition to righteous living. Now, when we say righteous living, we're not talking about, we're going to be the most holy men in the world. No, we're talking about improving our spiritual astuteness, aligning ourselves with God, improving the quality of our lives because we improve the quality of our spiritual connection with God. Anybody can get some money. That's not the improvement we're talking about. We're talking about the hunt for peace of mind. Same way you chase the paper, you got to chase peace of mind. Same way you chase your purpose, you got to chase peace of mind. Same way you out here chasing ladies, you got to chase you got to chase peace of mind. It's the most valuable asset you can have in life. So let's get into it. All right. The first thing we're going to dive into, we're going to look at what Proverbs 4, verse 14 through 19 says about it. And of course, I'm reading straight from the word. I left these in the description so you can find them if you want to and read along with me. All right. Proverbs 14. Proverbs 4, verse 14. We're going 14 through 19. Enter not into the path of wicked men. Let me do this again. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light, that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. So there you see, once you decide that you're going to make a move and you're going to start improving your life and you're going to be better and you're going to start living right let me address this. People say there is no wrong or right way to live, but those people don't know God. Those people don't have any spiritual astuteness. Those people believe that there's something else that's going to give them blessings. But let's see who those people call on when they're facing a life or death situation. Let's see where that toughness goes then. So as you can see, the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. Why does it shine more and more? Because you become more and more just. It's going to shine more and more as you travel your spiritual journey more and more. Well, let's juxtapose that. Let's juxtapose that against the way of the wicked is as darkness. You can't bring them with you. You have to separate from the darkness to come into the light. There's no way you can be in the darkness and the light at the same time. So you have to understand that you can't take them with you. If you have those people still around you, you're still stuck in the same place. You haven't made any progress. You haven't grown. Growth means separation. If you plant a tree, it starts with a seed, and then it takes root, and then it pops through the soil. Many, many years later, as that tree grows up, it starts to sprout out branches. Well, here's the thing. It goes up, it sprouts out one branch. You got one branch, all the leaves on that one branch. Well, it goes taller, and guess what? It sprouts out another branch. Now, those two branches will never meet again. No matter how much they grow, they'll never meet again unless the higher one falls down onto the lower one. You can't grow and keep the same people around you. So putting yourself in a situation where you're around these people, don't you understand that there's a recompense that comes to those people who live wickedly, those people who lie in wait, those people who, as the word says, they can't sleep unless they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. These are men who live wickedly. These are men who live in an ungodly manner. So how can you expect to take them with you when you're going toward godliness? It's like if you want to get in shape, if you're 300 pounds and all your partners are 300 pounds, you cannot stay with those same guys as you go to get in shape. You're not going to be with them anymore. Because while they're out eating and snacking, you're going to be at the gym. While they're out drinking and partying, you're going to be drinking water. While they're up late at night playing Call of Duty online, you're going to be getting your rest. And you know what else happens? You're going to attract different people's energy because hard work cannot be done around lazy people. Focused work cannot be done around unfocused people. You have to make up in your mind that you're going to do the thing that's right for you, and you're going to not worry about what anybody else does. If they want to go on the journey with you, fine. When I took the vow to Nazarite many, many years ago, I started the vow to Nazarite with two of my partners. We all jumped on it at the same time. All went through it at the same time. And one fell off. He was still too deep in the streets, couldn't let it go. He fell off. So it was two of us. And we went and we kept going and we went and we went. And then up toward as we branched out to the end, we parted ways. He went back. Me, I kept going all the way to the end until I was done. When I got to the end of the word, when I read the last page of the Bible, that was the end of my vow to Nazarite. I shaved off my dreads, burnt them, and then I went back out into life. But I went out back into life as a spiritually astute man. So certain people I wasn't going to be around. I had rules to my life that were going to govern my life. And if my rules didn't apply to you, you couldn't come around me and I wouldn't come around you. But I say this to say, unless you're going to fall to the wayside with them, you got to stay steady. You got to stay focused. You got to keep moving. You have to. So now we're going to go to Proverbs 13:18 through 21. I give y'all a little minute just in case just in case you got your own word. GC, salute, salute. I see you in the joint, man. Appreciate you being in the joint. All right, Proverbs 13, chapter 13, verse 18 to 21. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to fools to depart from evil. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. So when you think about the fact that if these men are actively living ungodly lives, they're sinners. And what follows sinners? What does chapter 20, what did verse 21 say? Evil pursueth sinners. It don't follow them, it chases them. Evil hunts sinners down. So if you're going in a righteous direction, why do you want the evil that's hunting them to be hunting you? Because you will be guilty by association. That's why God told you before, don't keep their company. When you keep their company, when the wrath falls on them, it's going to fall on you too. You can't go into a wrathful place and then think it's just going to float around you and move all around you. Even when God sent the pestilence to take the firstborn throughout Egypt when the children of Israel were in captivity, before Moses led them out into the wilderness, he told them, if you want this pestilence to pass over you, you got to put blood on the post of your house. You got to, it's not going to pass over you if you don't see it. It's coming through. It's going to affect everybody unless you put this blood on the doorpost of your house. So you have to make a concession and decide if you're going to be around, if you're going to go away. God don't want to have to worry about trying to move around you. He want to come through and tear up everything he want to tear up. You shouldn't be there when it's time to tear it up. When the land of Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, what did he tell Lot? Come out of there. Bring your family out of there. Bring your wife, bring your daughters. Come on out of there. I'm finna destroy that place. And don't look back. Just keep moving. Don't look back at it. And Lot got his daughters and his wife and got up out of there. Of course, his wife turned around and looked and turned into a pillar of salt. But him and his daughters, they kept it moving. Because when the pestilence comes through, it's not going to skip you. You need to be out of there. When evil pursues these guys who are still living that life, even though you try to tell them the right thing. And here's the thing, you can't excuse them, because the first thing you do when you start moving in a godly direction, you start sharing with them the information that you got. You start trying to convince them that they should make the move with you, that they should change with you, so they don't have the excuse of not knowing anymore. They know. They just choose to ignore. They become ignorant, and ignorance is no excuse. And I know somebody's going to say, man, ignorance don't mean you don't know. Ignorance means you don't know. No, it doesn't. Ignorance comes from the word ignore. It comes from the word ignore. Ignorance. Ignorance is the act of ignoring. Right? Just like relevance means that something is relevant. Right? So when you think about these things, man, you got to remember, see, the desire accomplished is sweet to the soul. The desire accomplished. When you're moving toward this goal, and you're moving toward this thing, and you desire to be more wholesome and you desire to be righteous, it's sweet when you reach that thing, sweet to the soul. When you finish the vow of Nazarite, it's sweet to the soul. But it is an abomination to fools to depart from evil. Do you not understand? Fools think it is wickedness to depart from evil. So when you try to get these people to move in the direction you're moving, at least change the things they need to change and improve some things, if they don't want to do it, they're fools. You can't keep the company of fools. So instead of walking with those men, you have to walk with wise men. Because like 20 said, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And what bigger fool is there than somebody say, man, I ain't worrying about what God want me to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't care what God want. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm the man in my life. God don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna live my life the way I want to live it. Don't come over here with all that God stuff, man. You gonna tell me about the big mystery man in the sky? I don't want to hear about the big white-haired mystery man in the sky. I don't want to hear about that wizard in the sky. These are the things that people say. But you got to remember, you don't care what they say. You're on a mission to do what you need to do in your life. That's what your mission is. So let's get into this thing. Let's get back into it. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 23, verse 17 through 21. Now, hold up. Before we go there, verse 18, we got to handle that. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction. Do you want poverty? Do you want shame? No, you don't. So you also don't want to be around those people who are invoking poverty and shame in their lives because they simply refuse instruction. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them that this is what the word of God says, so let's do this. They don't want to do that. You can't tell them nothing. They got their mind made up about what they want to do. You understand? But he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. He that receives that instruction, he that receives that reproof, he that receives that guidance shall be honored. And it didn't say honored by man, did it? It say honored. All right. Let's go to verse 20. Let's go to chapter 23, verse 17 through 21. I'll give y'all a little minute to get there, just in case you got your word. I got my OG partner, man, Mississippi Gino, man. You know, we have Bible study we bring in the Sabbath day with Bible study every week, right? And let me tell you, man, I can say, gee, hey, man, what's that verse that says, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and love and favor rather than silver and gold? He'll say, look at Proverbs 22, I think it's verse 1. Just like that. Me, I can't do that. I know it's in Proverbs, but I got to go find it. Man, he could come off top of his head like that. But if you tell him to go in the book and find it, man, he'd be flipping pages back and forth. Like, he'd be flipping pages back and forth. You know what I mean? And we laugh about that all the time, man. How one of us can go straight to it. Now you could say to me, "Hey, man, what proverb 23:1 say?" I can almost flip 2 pages and be at Proverb 23. You could tell. You ask me, man. Hey, man, I think there's a verse in Deuteronomy. I think it's Deuteronomy 15. I can flip. Sometimes I just flip a page and be right to it. Like I can just go right to it. The chapter, the verse, I can just go right to it. And so we laugh about that sometime. It'll be like, man, we yin and yang with this thing. So, all right, I thought that I might get a little laugh out of that. So, chapter 23, verse 17. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all day long. Let's try that again. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all day long. You know what that means? The fear of the Lord should be your guide. You should be thinking about it. You understand me? You should be thinking about it. Because when you think about envying sinners and whatever you think they got going on, man, and you think how easy it is, yes, man, it's a much easier life to just live how you want to live and be carefree. It's a much easier life not to honor anything. It's a much easier life not to follow any instruction or any reproof. It's a much easier life because all you got to do is get up every day and do whatever you want to do. So yes, that's a much easier life. But we're not talking about the easy life. We're talking about, what are we going to do to improve the way that we live? You know what I mean? What are we going to do to improve the way that we live? These are the things that matter. What are we going to do to make a better life for ourselves? So let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long. For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among winebibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe the man with rags. You don't have time to be amongst those people who want to hang out and party and do all of these things and go out and have a blast. And, like when you watch those old, I guess middle age type movies. When I say the middle ages, I mean those times where there were Vikings and pirates and all of those things. When you watch those, man, when you see these people at these pubs, they be in there just having a blast. They be all loud and they be drinking and they be eating. Well, that's what a modern club looks like. A modern club is the same thing. You got people in there partying and eating and dancing and having a blast and fighting and freaking and doing all kind of things in there. Be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe the man with rags. You think about that. Even some of these places you go, you think about going to a casino. You got wine bibbers in there. They give you free liquor. You can drink as long as you're in there. And they got all these restaurants and all this food you can always get in there. So when you go be among wine bibbers and riotous eaters of flesh, you're in a place that God is not. God doesn't go there. See, God is not trying to control you and tell you where you can't go. You can go wherever you want to go. He's telling you where he's not going to be. If you go there, you're not going to be where he's going to come. So you can't take the Spirit of God in those places with you. It stays outside. When the children of Israel were in the camp outside in the wilderness, when they came out of Egypt, he would tell them when you need to go relieve yourself and drop a deuce, you go outside the camp and drop a deuce. Go way outside the camp and dig a hole and drop your deuce in that hole. Because if you have it in the camp in here, I ain't coming in. So you can keep the camp clean, so you can keep the camp holy. You can't expect God to dwell around you, within you, by you, for you, if you're not going to live your life that way. You got to make a decision whether you're going to clean up your life or you're going to keep living the way you live. And there is no middle ground on that. There is no gray area. Either you're going to be over here or you're going to be over there. And that's a decision that you have to make in your own life. You have to decide which one of those you're going to do. So, hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. You're responsible for guiding your heart, not your heart guiding you. You see that all through the word. Guide your heart, or your heart will guide you. In other words, stay out of your feelings. So what, you like them? So what, they're your friends? So what, they're your people? So what, y'all get along? Man, the Most High don't care about that. He telling you, guide your heart. Don't let it guide you. Tell your heart, okay, man, we love them, but we love God more. Yeah, man, we have sentimental attachment to those things that we've been doing with them and the things we've been involved in, the experiences we had. But guess what? We can create some new. We got spiritual and emotional attachment to the Most High. So we got to move in this direction. Guide your heart. Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Wisdom. Use wisdom to guide your heart, because your heart will take you to a bad place. Your heart will take you to a place of self-destruction. And we can't afford to go to a place of self-destruction. None of us can. So let's go to Proverbs 24:1. Let's write down so we don't have to wait too long. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their hearts studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Their hearts studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. That's why I don't listen to men who talk about going to be with all these different women and going to go running around and doing all this and having a roster and doing all that. I don't listen to those men. I don't listen to men who talk about all type of violence and who talk about all type of, hustling, and who talk about prison life and who talk about all of those things. Man, I don't listen to none of that. Why? Because those men speak on mischief. I don't have time for that. God is not there. There's nothing godly there. You're not going to find God there. So you got to separate yourself from all of these things so you can live in a space of spiritual astuteness. That's a cocoon you have to build for yourself. Now, I ain't saying you got to go off into a hole and be boxed up. I'm saying the cocoon can be as big as you want to be. I'm not talking about a physical cocoon. You got to build a spiritual cocoon. And anything that affects your spiritual senses in a negative manner, you have to avoid it. And the people that are there, the people that are involved in it. If people want to be around you as you on your journey of spiritual astuteness, they better get on their own journey to spiritual astuteness. Someone asking me the other day, man, what you do? If your son playing sports, man, he got a game on Friday night. Man, he ain't going. I don't care about my son playing sports, man. Like what, sports? I don't care nothing about that. My son gonna have a spiritual connection with the Most High. So let's say even if he was living with his mom, he was living with his mama, man. If that he got something going on Friday night, I ain't gonna never be there. He got something going on Saturday, I ain't gonna never be there unless it's Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be there. I am not gonna be there. I'm not waking up going to do nothing on Saturday. Nothing at all. Even if we travel somewhere Friday evening and be settled in, I'm still not getting up to go do nothing on Saturday. Man, Saturday, I'm chilling. I'm resting. That's what I'm doing. 100% resting. And so I want y'all to understand that this is what we have to do. These are the things that we have to understand. You have to guard your life. You have to protect yourself. And you got to protect yourself from everybody. Man, you got to protect yourself from yourself. You got to be hard on yourself about living that life. You got to be tough with yourself. So how you going to be tough with yourself but not be tough with them? You got to be tough with everyone. Anybody that got to be cut off, they got to be cut off. Anybody that got to be cut out, man, they got to be cut out. You're on a mission, brothers. You're on a mission, a serious mission. And you don't have time to play around about this mission. You got to be serious about it and you got to be adamant about it. You understand me? You got to be real adamant about it. So let's get into chapter 29, Proverbs chapter 29, verses 1. And then we'll do 22 through 27. All right, chapter 29, verse 1. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall be destroyed, shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. Which means if that's how you're going to live your life, destruction is coming your way. Ain't nothing nobody can do about it. There's nothing anybody can do about the destruction that's coming your way. It's coming your way. You just got to accept that it's coming your way. You understand me? There's literally nothing you can do about it. You got to stay on top of your game. You got to stay on top of your name, and you got to stay on top of the game. You got to do what you got to do. You got to understand that if you don't accept reproof and instruction, then you're going to falter in life and you're going to be destroyed. And you may have destroy how? Destroyed, man. Do you know what the word destroyed means? Let's look it up. Cause I know somebody want to know. Let's look up the word destroyed. Put an end to the existence of something by damaging or attacking it. Ruin someone emotionally or spiritually. Defeat someone utterly. Those are the myriad of definitions, which mean the same thing. And you don't want that. I don't want that. Like, who wants that? Who wants to be destroyed? Simply because you don't listen. It's not the way to go. Now let's go to 22 through 27. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing and bewrayeth it not. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Now, verse 27 lets you know when you start changing for the better and becoming spiritually astute, they're going to hate you anyway. What's the first thing people tell you? Oh, you think you're better than me now. Oh, you don't mess with us no more. You think you're above us. I remember you used to do this. You used to be here. You used to be just like us. Look at you now. You think you're better than somebody. Man, you a sellout. You sold out. All the things they tell you when you start improving yourself. Because as the word says, He that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Okay, let's look up the word abomination. 'Cause I know you're like, man, what abomination mean? Man, tell me what it mean. Let's look it up. I'm gonna give you not my definition, the definition that you can believe in. A thing that causes disgust or hatred. A feeling of hatred. Abomination is something that someone hates. So when you walk in the upright way, it is an abomination to those people who choose to stay and live in their wickedness. Those who choose to keep living the same life, they hate you when you change. They hate you when you improve. You can be broke with a group of guys for 10 years and y'all be best friends. You figure out how to make some money, figure out a way to make some money, and those same guys will be the ones who try to set you up to rob you because they hate you now. The stressed hate the blessed. It's always been that way. This isn't something new. The stress have nothing but hate for the blessed. And you know what? You should have hate for them too. See, don't forget now, it first said an unjust man is an abomination to the just. So if you live a life that's pleasing to God, men who don't are an abomination to you. You can't be cool with them. You can't be friends with them. They're an abomination to you. Man, listen, if you got pork in your house at all, you can't even prepare me no meal in there. I'm not eating it no how. If you done cook pork in your pots and pans, you can't ever cook for me. So if that's an abomination to me, how I'm gonna let these people that are an abomination to me come around me too? How I'm gonna let them come around? They're an abomination too. So you got to remember, you have to hate wickedness. You have to hate those people who are still living that life. They have to be an abomination to you. That's how you avoid them. How you gonna love them when you're supposed to hate them? How you gonna love them when they're an abomination to you? All the love stops when they decide that they're going to be an abomination. This is what we must understand. God requires something of us. He ain't around here saying, okay, just live how you want to live and do what you want to do. Don't worry about it. I'll accept anything. Now, man, he gives us direct instructions on how we're supposed to be. That's if you want to live a life that's pleasing to God. If you don't, keep living in the world. This is only for people who are destined to live a life that's pleasing to God. If that's what you want to do, then these are the things that you must accept. Okay, let's go back to 26. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment coming from the Lord. So you can't say, man, I don't want my friends to feel this way about me. I don't want my friends to not like me. I don't want my friends to judge me. Man, they can't judge you. Every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. Every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. Do I need to read that again? Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. So you can't even worry about what these people gonna think if you lead them behind. Who cares what they gonna think? Your judgment don't come from them. And that's one of the major things that happen. You be so concerned about what people gonna say, because be so concerned about what people gonna feel. Man, who cares what they gonna feel? You got to worry about what God think of you. You got to worry about how God view you. You got to worry about how impressed God is with you. You to worry about trying to find grace in people's sight. You need to worry about finding grace in God's sight. That's what's gonna deliver you from the evil attacks and anything that you face in this life. Let's look at 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. There's a bunch of wickedness going on. There's a bunch of craziness going on out here. But guess what? If you put your trust in the Lord, and you know how you put your trust in the Lord, you can't just say, oh man, I trust the Lord. You know how you put your trust in the Lord? By proving with your actions, with your willingness to forego wickedness, with your willingness to put things aside, with your willingness to improve your life, with your willingness to stop doing things that you know aren't right, with your willingness to start being the man that you know you're supposed to be, with your willingness to cut off people who are not ready to make that transition, with your willingness to start understanding that those people are an abomination to you because they're an abomination to the Lord, with your willingness to accept the fact that if you're going to take this journey, it's going to be somewhere you've never gone before and you're going to be on it by yourself until you understand that God is with you the whole time. So remember, don't fear man. Fear of man bringeth a snare. a trap. It's 24. Whoso is partner with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing and bewrayeth it not. Man, standing on the righteous principles is a different way of life. You can't keep the company of wicked men. You can't keep the company of evildoers. You can't be partners with a thief. You can't be partners with a crook. When you hear cursing, you berate the man. Listen, that's why I tell people all the time, like when it comes to me, relationship wise, if a woman can't use profanity, I don't want her to change because she's a woman that uses profanity. I'm gonna let her keep using it. But if she doesn't, hey man, that's for me, that's a deal breaker. That's a pure deal breaker because we all know what it is when we use profanity. We know the energy of it. Now, you might say, man, those words don't mean that. Yes, they do. That's why we say them when we say them. That's how we use them, how we use them. That's why we say them because they mean something. They have an energy to them and they have a definition and they also have an intent. And we know that. Verse 23, a man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Let me tell y'all something. If you're a proud and haughty person, you have nothing to be proud and haughty about. Nothing. You have nothing to be proud and haughty about. There is nothing. There's no good that's going to come from that. Humbleness, the humble spirit is the delight of the Lord. Like he just aligns with the humble spirit because that means you're willing to receive instruction. You're willing to receive proof. You're willing to do what you have to do to grow. You're willing to follow instructions. And if you pride, man, your pride will bring you low. Pride cometh before the fall. And that's real. Verse 22, an angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. Transgression. You know what strife is? Strife is animosity, warring, adversarial energy. An angry man stirreth up strife. He just comes around and stirs things up. You can't keep company with those men. If a man is always stirring up something, always in the middle of something, man, you got to cut him off. I'm not going to deal with him. I'm not going to do it. You understand me? You have to know that a furious man aboundeth in transgression, which means there's always sin around him. He's overrun with sin. Man, there's so much sin attached to him, man, all type of transgression. He's gonna do whatever he gotta do to whoever he gotta do it to, and he don't care. You look at what's going on out here in the world now. Look at all the furious people out here doing all type of damage to other people. I'm talking about going through destroying everything, just taking a bunch of people out at one spot all the time. But remember, we don't have to worry about that because remember, verse 25, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe. All of these are things that you must take into consideration when you're planning to make your move and become the best version of yourself and be the version of yourself that God can love, that God can look at, that God can hold out and say, this is an example. This is an example. In verse 21 rather, he that, where we started at? We started at 22. Okay. So I just want y'all to understand, man, that you have to make sure that you keep yourself aligned with the mission that you're supposed to be on. You have to make sure that you keep yourself on one accord with the Most High. You have to make sure of that because you want to be the man who God says was righteous in his generation, was upright in his generation. That's the goal. The goal is just to live upright. You know what upright is? It means that you don't do anything that you're ashamed of. You don't do anything where you got the coward behind. When you live upright, that means that you live upright. You live proudly, not the type, not pride, like pride come before the fall, but you a proud representative of God. You can show your face. You could come around because there's no smut on your name. Why? Because you have chosen to live a life that's pleasing to God. You live an upright life. There is no low level or low vibrational thing going on in your life. You live an upright life. There's nothing that you won't share that you do because everything you do is upright. And when you make that decision in life, you got to understand that you got to leave those people behind that are meant to go with you. And by all means, if you put God first, try to bring them people with you is a curse. You can't put God first with those people. You got to put God first with yourself. They have to decide to put God first in their own lives. And if they don't decide that, man, you got to leave them where they are. You got to leave them where they are. And that is what the Bible says. Matter of fact, we'll leave it right there, what the Bible says. So I want y'all to understand, man, you got to do this, do it proudly, and do it with joy because you'll get many blessings from God if you do. All right, man. I appreciate y'all being in here. I ain't gonna hold y'all in here too long, man. Great show. I appreciate y'all showing up, man, this late. We'll be back in here, man, pretty soon. Matter of fact, I got one for y'all tomorrow that I'm gonna do. It was between that one and this one tonight, so we'll do that one tomorrow. Hey, man, look, I appreciate y'all being in the joint. Y'all put God first. Y'all keep grinding and growing. GC, represent. Mod Squad, salute. Everybody else, man, I appreciate y'all being in the joint. Peace.